everybody, this is So Many Sequels. I'm Josh.
I'm Garrett.
And I'm David.
Welcome to a brand new episode of the show, kicking things off this week with what we've been watching. And I gotta say, guys, it's been a really slow week for me. I have not watched anything that was really new to me at all. I've watched some TV, but no movies hit my screen this week.
What TV? What you been watching on the boob tube, as they used to say?
You know what I gotta say, and this is I'm gonna admit this on TV. Are we on TV? That's not what I meant.
Sure. YouTube TV, sure. Why not?
You guys have been watching Young Sheldon.
Oh.
You've been catching
why?
up.
I don't know.
Because the kids love it.
Because here's why. So it ended recently. I learned.
Right.
And when around the time the finale aired, I saw it everywhere. I saw people talking about Young Sheldon, and I was like, "What? Mm-hmm. I've never heard people talk about Young Sheldon ever." When it ended is when I found out it had been on for 7 years, and I just keep seeing all these people talking about Young Sheldon's amazing. Young Sheldon's amazing, and then I started hearing people in the real world talk about Young Sheldon. Oh, I've been watching Young Sheldon. You have? So then I found out that Young Sheldon is streaming on Max, on Netflix, on Paramount Plus, and on a fourth one I don't remember. It's on like all of them.
Wow.
So I turned it on, and I gotta say, it is unfortunately quite good.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know what? I love hearing that because I often stereotype a show, and, I was a huge Big Bang Theory fan. And that got the Nickelback treatment so hard
It did.
that I just didn't even want to give Young Sheldon a chance anymore. So I'm glad to hear that it's good. I have no problem seeing how it could be touching, though. It seems like a show that could be very sweet. I'll put it that way.
Well, my
especially in a culture of like kids feeling awkward and being bullied, and that not being so uncommon, I could easily see how that would connect with a lot of people.
My thought process on it was, Sheldon in The Big Bang Theory is by design pretty annoying. Like, he's a foil a lot. He gets in the way. Yeah, everybody loves him, but he's annoying. And I was like, we're gonna make that a child version of that, and that's supposed to be good TV. But it is very. One thing that's nice is like they capture that time period pretty well. I think it's like late 80s, early 90s. Capture that really well. There's a lot of the whole family is like they're great. It's like characters that aren't even Sheldon is why you're watching it as you go along. So it's actually a pretty good family sitcom, I would say. And Sheldon is not nearly as annoying as you would think, though not annoying.
Yes.
Sure.
But now is the time. We need old Sheldon starring Michael Keaton. And they can make this happen right now. I believe in it. If you don't believe me, look up Michael Keaton first grade photo. Looks like young Sheldon.
The crazy thing is they've already got the next spinoff announced and on the schedule. It's called George and Mandy's First Wedding. And George is Sheldon's older brother. And unfortunately, because of the lore created in the show, we already know that George and Mandy get divorced. Yet they chose them for the next show. So I don't know how that's going to work either. Because
they're going to walk us through a divorce. That's going to be interesting.
There's already intrigue baked into it.
Yeah, sure, I guess so. I don't know. That's my Young Sheldon recap. I did not expect that to occur.
Actually, thank you for that. I appreciate when a show that feels like it's getting a bad review.
You're
right, because that show has been on for so long, and no one in this world has spoken about a word about it out loud, I think for fear that they would be ridiculed. But you know what? Speak up about your shows.
One of the most watched sitcoms, apparently.
How many seasons did it go? 7?
Anymore, but 7 seasons.
7, wow. I mean, that's not as many as Big Bang Theory, but it's still a lot.
It's close to it.
Yeah. I mean, it's like at this point we're on like almost 19 years of Sheldon.
To my knowledge, there has only been one spinoff that has ever outlasted its original predecessor or whatever, and that is Frasier from Cheers.
Wow, that feels immediately. I wouldn't even question it.
No, that sounds right.
I mean, Frasier feels like it was on forever. It's still on. It's back and still on. They're doing a second season of the reboot. I learned that.
I didn't know. I did not know that.
They're still making Frasier out here. You know that just a couple weeks ago that the Connors ended.
Wow. How about
Yeah.
that?
Connors was
The
still
Connors
on.
was still going.
It almost ran as long as Roseanne.
Wow.
Yeah.
Impressive.
So many TV. We could do another show.
Crazy.
Yes.
We could.
There's too much TV. That's what that show is called.
Yep. Anyway,
That
let's
is a
get
good
back to movies though.
It's a movie podcast.
Garrett, I gotta start with you because you have an array here. I want to just go through the waves of it. So if you could take us on this journey.
Yeah, I had a week of nothing to do, and I just caught up on movies, and then there was nothing else, and so I went down a rabbit hole, man, and it was crazy. The first one I did watch was a new one to me. It came out in 2022 on the indie circuit, but just now became available, and it's on Max. It stars Dakota Johnson and other actors that I just cannot remember the names of. Sean Hayes is in there for a hot second, and so is Tig Notaro. And I believe that Tig Notaro she co-directed this, and it's called Am I Okay? And it is about a woman in her 30s who is just now possibly realizing that she's a lesbian. And it is her self-discovery through that, and it's got a nice little friendship story that goes along with it, and I thought it was pretty good. Very prideful movie, if you will, to celebrate this month. And it was a very good relationship, friendship, self-discovery movie, and I liked it. The other ones are bonkers. I don't even think people will remember most of these movies. Three Ninjas. Three Ninjas. David, you and I have talked about this already on Threads. Three Ninjas is a movie that was so... I can't underscore this enough. I'm not even kidding. I'm saying this with the most straight face I could say. One of the most important childhood movies that I had growing up was the entire Three Ninjas franchise. Specifically, Three Ninjas, the first one, and Three Ninjas Strike Back. The second one had a change of some actors, and it was weird. And the fourth one, High Noon at Mega Mountain, it stars Hulk Hogan and a whole new array of actors, and it is only worth watching for its 0% rating on Rotten Tomatoes.
High Noon at what now?
High Noon at Mega Mountain. Please Google it. Please Google
Hey.
it and just look at the images for it.
Hey, the fourth one's tricky. You know, you get to the fourth movie in a franchise, things get a little fuzzy, good or bad.
But I actually had a lot of people message me on my Instagram saying that they also remembered the movie, so I was quite surprised because I was stunned.
Garrett, I'm going to be perfectly honest on two things. This is what I told you on Threads, is that I highly considered when I saw this movie as a kid, changing my name to Rocky. Between this and Power Rangers, I was like, Rocky is a cool name. I want to be Rocky, and then the Rocky movies. I kind of figured, like, But I also, to speak to sort of like, 90s era accidental racism, I thought that this was a sequel to The Karate Kid. Like, I thought it was Mr. Miyagi was their teacher. I just saw old Asian man and assumed this had to be the same franchise as The Karate Kid.
David, I do think that you pegged on something, because I was thinking, why was there such an influx of ninja stuff in the 90s? And I think it was The Karate Kid, because there was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, there was The Karate Kid, you had the Three Ninjas movies, you had Surf Ninjas was the other one in the 90s that I'm going to go back and find. I don't know if you remember that, but Surf Ninjas, classic. I had that a Sega Genesis game. Oh my God. I'm saying words that people don't know now.
No, and you throw Power Rangers in on that too, of like just the karate martial arts of the late 80s through the late 90s probably. It was everywhere.
Yeah, you talked about accidental racism, though. Three Ninjas had a lot of it in there because Victor Wong was the only person with Asian culture. Everyone else was white in this movie. It's just so white. And I don't know how his grandsons are so white, because he is supposed to be the grandpa, and their mom is super white and their dad is super white. It was very poor casting, if I do say so myself, that whitewashing of the 90s.
Can unfortunately no longer be a part of this show, because I now have to fully dive into why ninjas were so popular in the 80s and 90s. I feel like there's something there if it hasn't already been written.
Yeah. That's a
I need
that's a
to
story
find
waiting
the
to happen.
4-hour YouTube video about it.
Yep.
Yeah, there's got to be a
Because you're right. You are totally right. Mortal Kombat.
Yes.
whether
right,
it
guys.
is the Karate Kid or whether there's some other foundational thing that just made karate.
At one of
Air
the
quotes,
iterations
the
of the
thing.
Power Rangers, they were ninjas.
Yes,
Yep.
they big Ninja Rangers. This is huge.
Yeah.
In the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie, that's what they do. They become the Ninja Rangers.
They do. That's true.
That's true. Yeah.
Wow. The other one that I ended up on, David, you actually inspired me with your
I think I know the movie.
last week's, and I watched Mr. Nice Guy with Jackie Chan from 1997. He is a chef, and there is a reporter who videotaped a drug deal, and he's just a nice guy who is a chef who knows karate, and he saved her. And then he, gets mixed up in this mob war.
Yeah.
And they're just coming for him, man. And he just fights, has no idea what's going on half the time, making noodles, literally, because he's a chef. And it is, it is fun to see early 1990s movies with Jackie Chan because he just goes all out for his stunts. And that's what this movie is. I mean, it lives for the fight scenes. Everything else in between is just there. But the fight scenes, and the bloopers, those were the best part of Jackie Chan movies.
On a similar track, I also watched another Jackie Chan movie this week, and that was Police Story, which was directed by Jackie Chan, and one of his first directorial. I think it might have been his directorial debut or one of them. And wow, insane action, like fighting, the choreography, the stunts. Like, we're pretty desensitized to stunts, I think, sometimes. And there were a few moments in this where I literally gasped. I was like, I was terrified because I knew they weren't there was not a lot of cheating going on. And there's some stuff they do that it's like, how did they do that? How did they do that? That was so crazy. Wild movie. The story is, I don't even know what to tell you. Like, it is all over the place tonally. There's several weird shifts in tone in the last 30 minutes. It goes from there's literally in the last 30 minutes there's a sequence where where Jackie is doing kind of this very classic I don't even know, Jerry Lewis, Buster Keaton, physical comedy bit with telephones, and then within 10 minutes he's in the middle of an intense hostage situation. I was like, this is all over the place in terms of story beats, but it was very cool. It was very cool in terms of the action movie element. So
Very cool.
very cool.
I
And I'll
have
leave my
not
last
seen
one
that
off.
Jackie Chan movie. Yeah, I have not seen that Jackie Chan movie, but I've seen many Jackie Chan movies in my day. Was also a big fan of the Jackie Chan show that was on.
Yeah. The animated series. Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
the animated series.
that was great. Yeah, and I'll say this: if you've only watched, and I can't say that I'm totally this guy. I'm just kind of finally.
You're not that guy, pal.
I'm not that guy. I'm just now opening up this side of things. But I think if you've only seen Jackie Chan's American work, you're just scratching the surface. Like his Chinese films are so much more intense because, as Jackie has described, and he described it on the Jackie Chan cartoon show, I remember this clip. In America, everything's about money. They don't have time to do 100 takes. They want to get it in 3 takes and be done. In China, they would just say, Jackie, just go do your movie. And he would do 100, 200 takes, whatever it took for him to catch that piece of shrimp with his pencil or whatever. He was going to do it, 100 or 200 times. It's so the commitment is outstanding.
I also watched Molly's Game, which is one of my favorite movies from whenever it came out. Lord, it was pre-pandemic, so don't ask. But it was also a very good revisit. Jessica Chastain, Idris Elba, Aaron Sorkin's directorial debut. Yeah, it's got a lot of great people. Tulsa actress Samantha Eisler's in it, so that's got a nice little connection there here to this Tulsa movie podcast. So that's fun.
Yeah,
It sure is. It is. Yeah. All right, David, you watch anything?
I did finally finish Mad Max, the original.
Oh, you finished the original?
And you were totally right. It's
It's just odd.
it's like the seeds are there.
Yeah.
They ain't grown yet.
They ain't grown yet. That's true. That's true.
And I saw someone else say this on Letterboxd. It feels like the inciting incident happens at the end. It feels like we finally get to like, oh, this is the start of Mad Max right here in the last like 25 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. I can see that. All right. Well, there's some movie news, sequel news come up. Not really news, but some new trailers. And one new Lego movie that I'm really intrigued to hear more about. But first, you guys see this Venom trailer? They're still throwing Venom at us.
I have not seen
Venom 3,
any of
The
the
Last
Venoms in any
Dance.
way, shape, or form.
David, you submitted it to our list.
Yeah.
Was there a particular call out you wanted to make?
No, I knew that you had. I'm pretty sure you had seen the first two.
For sure, the first one. I honestly don't remember if I saw the second.
Well, I remember you. I remember you asked me if I had seen the second Venom because you said there was something in the post credits that you found very interesting.
Then.
And so that was one of the reasons I was like, well, Josh has seen both of these. Maybe he'll have some opinions. But Venom: The Last Dance, and the trailer is kind of crazy, as Josh, I think you pointed out. You kind of feel like you get a lot of the movie. We do get a venomized horse in it, which is very like they're just venomizing everything these days. So that's kind of it's. I'm sure there's going to be some cool stuff, but I've never been overly drawn in by this Venom franchise. I'm sure it'll do pretty well because the first two did pretty well. It has its audience.
Yeah. I'm so tired of movie trailers now. I feel like all of them give the whole movie away. Mm-hmm. Like I pull this up on YouTube. Any movie, if it's 3 minutes plus, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You all need to be.
Don't they know?
Just like, was it your first day? I don't understand who you think is watching 3-minute trailers.
That's what I was going to say. Don't they know that everything has to be done in 30 seconds? Minute max.
Or 4 hours.
Maybe 90
Those are the
seconds.
options.
90 seconds if you hit
90
me
seconds
real
is
quick.
really good. Yeah, it's max
Yeah, I love a
2
teaser.
minutes.
I love it when they post teasers. Give me teasers. I don't need the whole trailer, but this one has...
Teasers used to be 15 seconds.
Oh, goodness. That's enough. That's like the title card, and that's it. They couldn't
That's
even
what
get
they
all
need.
their production logos in 15 seconds. But ultimately, I don't know.
It is called The Last
just
Dance.
looks bad.
So I'm sitting here thinking this is going to be the last one. It's a franchise we haven't really touched on too much, so I was interested from that perspective. It might be done. We might be winding up, but it's funny because they started this whole Venom thing because they didn't really have their own Spider-Man. That seemed to be the notion. And now they're sort of I don't know, maybe they're trying to circle back to having their own version of Spider-Man in the Sony world. I don't know. So like it seems like bad timing. But anyway, let's move on to the Pharrell biopic. Because that to me is the most interesting thing that happened in movie news this week.
Yeah, why don't you explain this to us?
So Pharrell has a musical biopic coming out, and they made it in Lego movie format. Like it's animated like the Lego movie, and if you watch the trailer, it's crazy. Like and because it comes across just like Lego movie or Lego Batman or the Lego Movie 2 or Lego Ninjago, any of those. And it just seems to be that was something that, like, I don't know, I think Pharrell just suggested, hey, I don't want to do the typical boring biopic version of my life. I want to do a Lego movie. I want to play myself. And it seems like a really creative and interesting idea to me. It seems like something that both the biopic genre and the animation medium both needed. And like now I can't get it out of my head of like, if they ever did a biopic of like Walt Disney, do it animated. Like that would be so cool since he's like, they sort of lauded as being this pioneer in the animation world. That would be really cool. And so like, I just think this is a really interesting thing to do. Will it work? I don't know. Because at the end of the day, it looks like a kid's movie, but Snoop Dogg's in it smoking weed. So I don't know how it's going to go.
Right. That's my thing. I watched the little clip and I don't know who it's for.
Yeah. It's for Pharrell fans.
But like, who's that?
Exactly. I don't know.
You
Pharrell
know,
seems
no,
like
and
a
I
cool
don't mean,
dude.
obviously
Yeah.
Pharrell has fans, but I mean, like, does he have fans to like do a biopic?
I don't know.
I know him as the guy who sang "Happy."
Yeah,
That's about
Yeah.
it, and he's
He's
a
like-
big producer.
yeah. He's produced a lot
That's
of
why
big
you
hits.
go watch his biopic.
Yeah, but
You
it's
learn more
Lego,
about
so
him.
now I don't
Learn
think
his
it's
story.
true.
Yeah, there's gonna be
That's
some.
you can
some
blame Weird
fantastic-
Al for that.
gonna be
Hey,
some
at least Weird
fantasy.
Al was honest about
And
it.
you know what? You can blame a little bit of Rocket Man. I think that Rocket Man about Elton John is one of the other biopics in recent years that I thought was actually a little bit inspired because they did it like a musical. Like they didn't do it like
right.
you look like Bohemian Rhapsody, and it's like here's the story, and we're just gonna play the hits. They're just gonna play throughout the movie. Whereas in that movie, they just sang the songs, and the songs were appropriate for the moment.
Yeah, Rocket
So-
Man was good.
It was very.
So yeah, I think it's really interesting, and I would love it if animation could branch out into more genres that it doesn't get, and the biopic is such an interesting one.
Very, very. Does this mean we're gonna get Lego Pharrell sets now? Lego sets
Have
and
to.
like cameos of all the other famous
Snoop Dogg.
people who are gonna be Lego-fied in it. I mean, I guess
What-
that's the reason to see it, right? Who
Right.
other celebrities are Legoed?
Yeah,
this
Ice
movie.
Cube, Dre.
Forgot about Dre.
I'm trying to think of another genre that would be interesting to see in the biopic. A war movie.
I don't know. They're gonna put it in theaters though. That's the strange part to
Apparently.
me.
It's called Piece by Piece. The Pharrell
Okay.
Williams story, maybe. Or is it Pharrell Williams?
Okay.
Is that his last name?
Yeah, Pharrell Williams. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
And then we still are getting this steady drop of casting news for Knives Out 3, Wake Up Dead Man, the new Rian Johnson Netflix movie. We found out this past week that Josh Brolin and Thomas Hayden Church have joined the cast. Those are two pretty big names.
Yeah, love them both. yeah.
Again, we don't know jack about this movie other than some of these people are in it. So it still is like, I don't know what it's shaping up to be, but I like these names.
Yeah, I have one piece of speculation, and it could be totally wrong. They're filming in the UK, so there's a part of me that wants to be like, I wonder if it's going to be set in the UK. That could, that would be different than the last two. So I'm wondering, that's a tiny speculation there, but it's not really much.
We
of
also
anything.
we also increased our chances of a previous Marvel character being the villain in that Josh Brolin has been attached. So now we've got Jeremy Renner, we've got Josh Brolin, previous killers, spoilers for those of you that haven't seen it, Chris Evans, aka Captain America, and Ed Norton, aka
Hey,
pre-Ruffalo Hulk.
and you know what? Thomas Hayden Church, he was the Sandman in Spider-Man
I don't know
3.
if it
so
counts, but
there
Spider-Man
too.
3, I was thinking.
Maybe that's
And
a
he'll-
loophole that he'll exploit in some way, shape, or
And
form.
Batista was in Glass Onion as well. He wasn't the killer, but he was not a cool dude.
True.
But Batista's
All right.
not a villain
Not
in the Marvel
necessarily.
universe. That's the key.
Well, that's true. He's not a villain in the Marvel universe.
Some of them are both. Anyway, very excited to keep. I don't know how many more people could be in this movie. I suspect a lot, but we will keep letting you know for sure. David, this is the first week in a while that I don't get to say that the movie theaters are burning down, because one movie has come in to save all of movies,
Hey,
Just
you know,
like it did in 2020.
just like it did in 2020.
yes.
Who has come in to save the day?
The unexpected highest grossing film of 2020, Bad Boys for Life, which ironically probably should have swapped these titles because it could have been Bad Boys for Life with the 4. But this Ride or Die should have been the third one. But yeah, so your top 5 this week at the box office is Bad Boys Ride or Die at number 1 with 56 million. So also opening to 48 million overseas. So its worldwide total after 3 days is estimated to be about 104 million on a budget of 100 million. So it's already at its production budget. Odds are, if it's kind of typical, the typical marketing spending kind of thing, a movie needs to make about 2.5 times its budget to reach profit. So it may need to reach about 250. But if it's already made 100 million opening weekend, it's on a pretty good start. That's the kind of thing that you kind of look for. So 56 million, a pretty good opening for Bad Boys Ride or Die. The number 2 movie of the week, the Garfield movie, drops to 10 million. At number 3, if is still in the box office top 5 with $8 million in its fourth weekend. If is showing some pretty decent legs. We talked about a few when it opened. It could have some elemental-like legs, and only dropped 23% this week. Budget there is about $110 million. It's at $160 so far, so it's plugging along. It needs to get into that $250 range as well, but we'll see if it does. So we'll see if it makes it. It's one of the only kids movies, quote unquote, as Garrett will say, not super kid friendly.
Yeah, be careful with the kid friendly section.
Right.
Yeah, but it's one of the
More
only
of a parent
Garfield
movie that
kinda,
you can take your kids to.
Yes, it's one of the only kid-ish movies other than Garfield right now until Inside Out 2 comes out.
Why is I haven't seen this Garfield movie either, but he's an asshole. Why is he for kids? His whole thing is
Because he likes
he's an asshole.
lasagna, he hates
like,
Mondays. Kids love
not for it.
lasagnas and hate Mondays.
He represents.
Nah, Garfield's an asshole. I think that's well renowned. That's just known.
He represents the
I don't even
common
think that's
man.
my opinion.
He's anti-capitalist.
He ain't
So,
anti-capitalist.
He hates
He's
Mondays.
On everything.
He hates Mondays. That's the day he doesn't even go to work, and he knows it's a bad day. And anyway, number 4, we have the I believe it's M. Night Shyamalan's daughter, her directorial debut, The Watchers. Is that correct? Brought in $7 million. At number 5, you have Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, holding on with $5.4 million in that number 5 spot. Furiosa did drop from the number 3 spot to the number 6 spot out of the top 5. And it's been a tough time for that movie, but it's great. So if you have the opportunity, please go see it. And that is it for the box office stats this weekend.
Cool. Well, last bit of business here to talk about before we wrap up the show is we are gearing up, getting excited for the Circle Cinema Film Festival to return here in Tulsa, the 6th year. It's coming up July 11th through the 15th. There's going to be made in Oklahoma short films, documentaries, narrative films. It's kind of the whole thing. And it's not just made in Oklahoma, but it's also people from Oklahoma who are contributing to the overall film industry. So we're excited to be there. Be sure you go check out their website, circlecinema.org. They should be announcing the lineup of films here pretty soon. But you're going to want to go ahead and make sure you've got that weekend blocked off so you can make sure to come and see some films there. And come say hi to us. We're going to be there talking to people as they watch movies and get their reactions and all that fun stuff. There's going to be a lot of fun things happening there. If you haven't been to Circle Cinema, you really should go, and be sure to check out outside, out front. They got their Walk of Fame, which is kind of like Tulsa's own Hollywood Boulevard type situation, but instead of stars, they have circles for Circle Cinema in the ground there. And some really famous Tulsans have them. Garrett, you should know some, right? You've done some work on them before with them.
Oh yeah, take your pick. I mean, we got I believe Brad Pitt has got one, Bill Hader's got one. Oh my goodness, the lead actress from the Nightmare on Elm Street movies, whose name is escaping me at this moment, but I think it's Nancy in the movie. She has got one. So various.
Tim Blake Nelson.
Tim Blake.
Do
Nelson.
what?
Tim Blake Nelson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of people that they have. You would recognize that I just have escaping me right now, but it is a very interesting walk to go down and be like, oh, I didn't know that person was from Oklahoma. And I think that's the key, is that there are so many people in film from Oklahoma that you may or may not know about.
Yeah, and at the festival this year, they will be adding 2 new medallions to the Walk of Fame. First will be to recognize actor Joe Sears. He's from Bartlesville and is known for his work in the Greater Tuna franchise. And then we've also got here Tulsa actress Samantha Eisler. She starred as Ellie in the NBC sitcom Sean Saves the World. She also played the role The Darkness on the CW series Supernatural. So that's also another fun Tulsa tie there. Samantha Eisler and Joe Sears will both be honored with new medallions at the Walk of Fame. So lots of good reasons to check out the Circle Cinema Film Fest this year. Do that. We're going to be there, and it's going to be fun. And that's really it for the show this week. So let's go ahead and send it off. David, what's our YouTube goal now? We're chugging along here. We've run the numbers, and the goal is now what?
202.
202.
And good news, we're at 200. So we're just 2 away. You could be number 2.
The 202nd YouTube subscriber.
Right. And then you know what? The things reset and we'll have a new goal to reach. We don't know what it'll be yet. But this is helpful. This is helpful.
Yeah. So please,
Thank
join
you
us.
so much for subscribing and liking and smashing the subscribe button. Is that what you're supposed to say? Smash the
Yeah, hit
subscribe
the
button.
Smash it.
Yeah.
Just make sure to smash it.
Share
a
it
odd
out to
number
you.
of times.
Twist it.
How do you tell people to share it? Because that's really what matters. I mean, yeah, you can subscribe, but if you're not sharing it, then what the fuck are you doing?
Boink
And
it,
watch the whole thing. Watch times are great.
You zap it. What's the one from The Office?
Woof.
You wolf it to
Yeah,
your friends.
That's the Fediverse.
Yeah, you wolf it. to
Brian
your friends
created
on
the Fediverse.
That is exactly how to do it. All right. Well, you guys can find more of us at SoManySequels.com. We've got all our episodes there. Links to our social channels: Facebook, Instagram, Threads, TikTok. Let us know what you think of the show. We'll see you all next time. Bye.